Hi everyone, and welcome here to my channel. In today's video I'm gonna be making this poncho. It's a surfing poncho that you wear on the beach when you want to get changed. It also can be used for swimming if you swim and then to use after, or swimming on the lake or whatever you're thinking about. It has a hoodie on the back, and I'm gonna show you soon because this hoodie turns into a little bag for the whole poncho, which is cool. This poncho is entirely made in crochet. As you can see here, it's all finished in crochet, so you don't really need a sewing machine, which is great. And you can make this poncho that's it's quite an expensive item if you go to the shops to buy it. And you can make with just normal towels if that's what you have. I bought this material by the meter. I'm gonna show you this material, how it looks like. It's like a microfiber. So it's the same fabric used to make cloths for sunglasses or just glasses to clean them. And it feels super soft, but you can also be using a towel or old towels if that's what you have at home. Now I link the pattern down in the description below because in the pattern I made all the calculations for all sizes, all the way from kids to men. Okay, so you know how long to cut the fabric for. So for this pattern I'll be using 3 different colors of amigurumi yarn. But you can also be using 4-ply or double knit cotton yarn, like the 24/7 yarn. It's good enough for this, okay? For this project, I'll be using 2 different hooks, which is a 3 millimeters. And I'm going to be using also a smaller hook, which is gonna be used to punch the holes through the fabric. Let me show you here. I'm gonna be using to punch the holes through the fabric and make it all and just finish the whole piece. And you can actually use the same technique for any fabric, even jeans or anything. You punch holes and then you close the fabric with the crochet after. Okay, so this is a great technique to close the fabric and join 2 pieces of fabric together, just like I did here on the shoulders. This is a super fast project that you can make in one afternoon, and because it's all fabric and there's not much crochet just around it really. And I think it's a great designer project to have on the beach if you're going to an expensive resort or something like that. Well guys, so let's get started. If you want any different size than woman like the one I'm doing, the link's down in the description below. I'm going to leave also the link for the fabric if you don't know where to purchase it. Amazon has towel fabric, which is not the same of this one, but is a cotton towel fabric that you can use as well. And I'm going to see if I can find a link for this same microfiber towel fabric here for you guys. So let's get started. To make my surf poncho, the first thing that I did was to cut the piece on the size for me. What I did was, because they sent me the piece in one entire piece, I just divided by 2 and then I divided by 2 again, and I got this piece here so I could use all the fabric. But you can also follow all the sizes that I have in the pattern depending on the size you are making. So here I have just on the fabric, not counting with crochet I already made, I have 72 centimeters because this is half, around 95 centimeters, which is fine for me. It's just above the knee. So I'm happy with this size. If you want a kid size or a man's size or anything like that, just follow the pattern. You can see all the sizes there. Now I'm gonna quickly show you, because I cut this piece here. It's just straight, as you can see here, it's straight. But for the front piece, we are going to be making a cut. So I placed in front of me in the mirror, and I just placed 2 markers for the size that I want the shoulders to be. This is gonna be seamed after, They're gonna be both shoulders, okay? And then you place this right on top of the second part of the fabric. What you're going to do for this V shape is, you're gonna get this one that's already ready, and you're gonna place a marker where you want your V cut to be. So I want around here somewhere. So this is all I'm going to do, just fold in half. There's not really a measurement for this, it's really what you want the length of your V-neck to be, okay? So I'm going to cut from there all the way on a triangular shape, all the way. Just make sure you cut this straight and you should be fine. I know this looks long, but we are going to be making crochet around here as well. The same crochet here, okay? Now, now that we have our neck cut ready, I'm gonna show you how to make the stitching. So the stitching can be made, I'm going to be making with this yarn here. Now, if you choose to make with a needle and thread, just cut a very long piece of thread. I'm not going to do this way, so I cut just a little bit to show you guys how to do it. Start making a knot. Start right on the corner on the bottom. So you're gonna fold the little corner this way, like this, and then again like this. So it's gonna be both parts are gonna be folded, and then you're gonna put the needle through here and make a little knot under, and then you're gonna put through this same hole here, always holding this so it doesn't open. And this is gonna help holding the thread over there. And then again, place the yarn through here, pull it, and then pass it through this way. And then again, and pass it through here to start forming the stitches. And then go to the next hole here. Always try to keep the same distance. And then from here, you're gonna really start forming the stitches. So I'm folding here on the back to close it, and this is gonna help keep the fabric like that. And I always put the needle through right on the bottom where it's folded. As you can see, it's folded right there. I'm gonna put just underneath, and always with that same space, okay? So from here, right underneath there, and on top of the other side. And then after this, we're gonna have two stitches to each one of these spaces here, okay? Now I'm going to remove and make the other way for you. So to work with the crochet hook instead, we're going to do the exact same thing here. Fold both sides, and then pass the hook through the fabric, making a knot. I'll have to remake that. So make a crochet knot here. Make sure it's a little open. And then fold the fabric again. I'm probably not explaining the right way for you guys, just everything's coming apart. But you basically have to hold this while you pull the yarn through. Okay, so fold it. And then make the first stitch here. Chain 2. And then to close this so it doesn't open this corner, put the hook through that same space, pull through, and then make another stitch there. Then chain 2, and here to see where the next stitch is gonna go, all you have to do is this. See where the hook's gonna end, fold the back of it, put the hook through, and pull the stitch. Chain 2, do the same thing, and put the stitch right underneath where the fabric's folded. Chain 2, I'm always gonna chain 2, and then after a while you already know where you should put the hook next. After a while this gets really easy, and when you pull, make sure you pull and make a loop that's as long as the fabric, otherwise the fabric is gonna be all squeezed on the bottom as well. And make sure the length of the stitch is the same of the length of the fabric. Sometimes you can put the hook through the hole in the fabric a little more, like I'm doing here. Just pull it a little more, and then you're gonna open the fabric a little more, and it's gonna be easier to punch the hole as well, okay? To put the yarn through on the back. So I'm going to be doing this all around the piece, and I'll come back to show you the corner again, just for you to see. But I'll be making this all around the entire piece, the front and the back of this surf poncho, okay? If the holes get a little difficult because of the type of fabric, it's more closed, this is the hook I'm using, but you can also use these other 2 hooks here. They are a little smaller. I like using this one a lot for lycra. This is a 0.95 millimeters. I know it can get hard to pull the thread through, but I'll show you in a second how I do that when I'm working with smaller hooks. So here I'm right on the bottom of my V-cut of the fabric. So here, right in the middle, I'm going to be making a stitch right here. So just try and fold a little. It's going to be a little more difficult. And then pull the yarn through. When you're working with smaller needles, it's always good to have this position here when you're pulling the yarn. Just the hook facing the bottom and not to the side. That makes it easier to pull when you're using smaller hooks. And then go straight to the side. Make sure you are folding enough of the fabric. And then keep going the same way. Okay, so each one of the corners I'm going to be making 2 or 3 stitches. It depends on how many stitches really you need to cover the fabric so you won't open, okay? For me, 2 is enough. This doesn't change the design at all. It's just to make sure that the corners are gonna be closed and the fabric won't unfold while you are wearing or something like that, okay? So I'm gonna keep making this, and I'll come back with you to show you the second row after this. Now here on the last stitch, chain 2 and slip stitch in that corner there, and then slip stitch again to go to the other side, and then chain 2 to start the row. Now I'm going to switch hooks. I'm going to work with a bigger hook. This is like a 3 millimeters hook for the sides. That's what this yarn asks for. And then I'm going to go to the very next stitch and double crochet 1. So chain 2, double crochet 1, chain 1, and then skip 1 stitch underneath, which is that one. double crochet one in that stitch, one in the very next stitch, chain one, and skip one stitch underneath. I'm going to be repeating this stitch, and that's why it's good to start in one of the sides going up, so that's the longer side of it, because then we can straight away make this first row along the sides. So when you start this punching holes through the fabric, start on the longer side, so when you finish you can start with straight away with this row here. So I'm gonna be making this row all the way to the top here, and then on the other side I'm going to be doing the same thing, working on the right side. So on the other side you should start on the top, because we want to work always on the right side with these rows, okay? And then I'll come back with you with the next row. After this one we're gonna change the color and work 2 extra rows on each side. So if you're making this for a man and he doesn't want the crochet rows, you can make only this row and then go straight away to the second step of this, which where I'm going to seam it all together, okay? But if you're making for a girl or a kid, I think it's a cute little detail to have. So you can keep making these rows and then seam after this. And then I finish all the sides here, this first row. And then after that, what I did was I went in front of the mirror and I placed a marker where I wanted the arm space to be. So I have here, just to measure for you. This can be any size, it can be longer if you want it longer, but mine's 29 centimeters or around 11 inches, okay? This is gonna be the arm space. And then after that, place a marker on both of the arm spaces here, and then make the extra 2 rows on each side. They're gonna be underneath the arm, okay? Now, on the other side, I made the same thing. I placed a marker there. That's where I need to stop the row. I'm always gonna be working on the right side. So on one side I'm going to start the row here, and on the other side I'm going to start the row here. To start the second row, put the hook through that 3rd stitch on the beginning and make a slip knot. Pull it through and pull it tight, and then chain 1, 2, 3, 4. Put the tail underneath the work and work 2 double crochets in that first chain. Chain 1 and then repeat the work. Always working in chain. Super simple stitching. And then repeat this work all the way to where the marker is. We are going to finish the same way as here with 1 double crochet only, because that's how we did on the row before, okay? And then I'll come back with you to make the next row with the dark blue color. And then on the 3rd row, just put the hook through this 3rd chain again, slip knot, pull through, pull tight, and then chain 1, 2, 3. Hide the tail with a double crochet in that same chain on the beginning, chain 1, and then repeat the work you made underneath, the same thing. That's how it's going to look like. You're gonna go all the way to this place here and finish with 2 double crochets, same you have had underneath, okay? And then after this, just leave a long tail of this yarn here so we can seam with it on the sides. Once you finish both sides, make sure you stretch them both so they have a similar length. And then place a marker where you want to stop seaming, because I'm going to leave a side opening here. But I do have a few more stitches on this side and on this one. So what I'm going to do, in order for them to match on the bottom, I'm going to leave an opening of around 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 clusters. So I want to seam all the way to here. And I want this to match on both sides. To seam this, all I'm going to do is put through one stitch and then the other stitch this way. I'm gonna put very close for you guys to see, and then through one stitch, to the other stitch. But always trying to catch up on both sides, so when you reach here, you are in the same spot. I'm going to place a marker right in the middle so I know where I'm at on both sides as well. And then simply keep going with this stitch. You might have to skip a few stitches on this side because this side has more stitches than the other side. I don't really count stitches for this type of pattern, so it's easier as well. We don't need to be counting stitches all the time. It's just more like a free work this way. Okay, I'm going to seam all the way to this marker here, and then I'm going to seam on the other side as well. Make sure both right sides are facing each other, otherwise you will have to remake it again. And then I'll come back with you after this. So guys, I went ahead and I seamed here. Very normal seaming, stitch by stitch. As you can see, it's going this way. And then, so I could make now the arms, which I'm going to be making just around here with the same stitching that I had before, including these ones, so working on the round. As you can see, there's this space here. This space here is going to be only for the 3 rows that I'm making, because this V-cut's actually very large at the moment. Let me just show you guys how deep it is. So it's 9 inches deep, 13.5 inches long, wide. So this is gonna get much smaller because I'm making 3 to 4 rows with the yarn now. So I'm going to put this stitch here right where the join of both sides is. Pull it, and then I'm going to work exactly how I did before. I'm going to chain 3, make a stitch in the very next stitch, chain 1, and then continue this work around. Okay, so this is the stitch I'm going to be making. I'm gonna come back with you guys just to show you the middle here, because I'll be making 3 stitches together here in the middle just to form that V shape that we need for the neck cut, okay? Now here you make this last cluster of stitching in this one just before the middle stitch. The middle stitch is right here, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this one just before the middle, halfway, the middle one, and the next one after. So it's 3 stitches together to make this shape here. And this is gonna form the V-neck shape. And then go straight to where the other stitch is, so right here. I didn't actually made a chain, so double crochet 2 before, and then make the chain. And then keep going up with the same type of stitching. So I'll come back with you then in the middle of the next row, just to show you how to do this on the very next one. So here I started every other row just like on the sides, right here in this corner, and then followed up with the same rows that I made on the side before. And then here in the middle, just to quickly show you, all I had to do was these 2 stitches just before the middle stitch, and then 1 middle stitch here without the chains, okay? So I didn't make the chains there, just to get that V shape. And here I'm just showing you how to do it. Just simply make a double crochet with no chains in between and go straight to the next, and then go straight to the next chain space with 2 double crochets. And then after that, keep following with a chain, 2 double crochets. And then now I made here an extra row at the end, only because I thought this opening was a little too large and I wanted it more closed. So after the last row, doesn't matter which row, how many rows you made, I'm going to be making here a single crochet row around it. So chain 1 after you finish that row, single crochet 1 in the middle, and then single crochet 1 in between. And then 1 in the middle, you can cover the tails if you want, and 1 in between the rows. And guys, also make sure you keep trying it on while you make this, because just to make sure it fits properly, you can remove this here. So I'm gonna go with this, and here where I have the 2 chains, I'm making 1 stitch only, okay? So 1 stitch here and 1 on top of the other stitch, this way, okay? So it's, as you can see, it's finished much better for us to come with the hoodie after this, okay? And then this is on the bottom. I made the same exact row that I made all around the piece, but here, just to show you how I finished the corners here. So keep going with 1 double crochet in between and 1 in the middle, chain 1, go to the next row, chain 1, and do that on the very last stitch right here, and then chain 1. And here what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be working with single crochets just to finish this better. So chain 1, single crochet, and then single crochet, 1 single crochet in each stitch. Sometimes I skipped 1 here, just to make sure I didn't have too many stitches. And then, but basically just 1 single crochet to each stitch around here, which is gonna look like this at the end. It's a much better finish. When I finished here, all I did was chain 2 to go up and then restart the row this way. Okay, so I'm going to finish the sleeves. I'll come back just to show you how to make the hoodie. And then here, guys, this is gonna be the hoodie. So what I did was, this is gonna be the back part. I'm not gonna have, I'm not gonna sew here. I'm only gonna sew on the top there. So I'm going to cut like a curve here and sew this on the machine, but you can also do exactly what I did here, this way, to join on the top. And then, so to know where to cut, this is folded in half here. To know where to cut, I just have to fold enough to cover this piece here, okay? So it's gonna be right here. And then you can go ahead and cut. I'm going to cut a little more only because we are going to fold to do this, okay? So this is gonna be like this. I'm gonna use the sewing machine to sew this part here all the way to the top, okay? I'm going to go around the front and the bottom part of it to with this stitching here. So I can seam with the poncho after, but this is the shape it has to have, okay? It is also in the drawing, and let me show you here the size of it. So it's 36 by 27 folded in half, which is 54 total, okay? So you know, okay? Then 54 or 21 and a half inches. So I'm gonna go ahead and sew on the sewing machine these two bits together, and then I'm going to repeat the same thing I did around the entire jacket. So after sewing and everything, this is how my hoodie looks like. I did make a full row of that same row around the front, what's gonna be the front of it, and I'm going to be making a few more rows to fold it like this and then run a string through it for the inside. But before that, I'm gonna put this back in that position there, right on the corner, because I want to sew this with the rest of it. So let's fold this in half. Then I'm going to be sewing this just like I did for on the top of the sleeves. You want to probably catch up with this. If it's almost the same size, okay? But this one you have to go for more stitches on this one than this one to catch up. So after sewing this way, guys, I decided that I wanted this way instead. I just thought it looks better. So when I got here, what I'm going to do is join this part with this part instead of going the whole way with the hoodie, and then just leave the hoodie as it is on the back, just like this. So I'm going to seam this with the back here, and then just join the collar here. It just fits better, so that's why I decided to do this. If you want to go ahead and do the other way, you can do the other way too. I just felt that the hoodie makes the collar hang on top, which I didn't like. So I decided to do this instead. And then I'll just come back to show you how it looks like. I'm going to be making a little string here. And then to close the whole poncho as a little bag, what I did was I made 5 rows here for the hoodie. And then I made a little tassel string with double yarn, with 2 strands of yarn. And what I'm going to do is, to make it easier, I'm going to put it through, and then I'm going to seam with the little string already inside the hoodie, this way. It's gonna be on the inside, so it doesn't really matter the way you're gonna seam it because it's not gonna show much anyway. Just make sure this is strong enough. So I'll seam the whole way around. As you can see, it's already inside. And then I'm gonna show you how this looks like when it's finished. So if you like this tutorial, leave me your comment, let me know if you made this surf poncho. This is a great item to have for summer or even winter if you like to go to the beach or swim during the winter. It's super warm as well, and with the hoodie you can dry your hair as well. You can use it to sit by the beach, which is great. So leave me your comments, make sure you like, subscribe to my channel because I always have different types of tutorials like this one. I love to work with fabric as well. And thank you so much for watching, guys.